All right, we are on. Welcome, everybody, to this week's episode of Weekly Dose with Dr. Uday. I have a treat for you. I have Dr. Tolulpe Olabintan here with us today. It's going to be fun. We're going to be talking all about long and well. So I'm going to start with introductions and then we're going to get right into what we have for you today. So for those that don't know me, my name is Dr. Uday. I'm a board certified family medicine physician. I'm based in Martinsburg, West Virginia. I own a primary care practice, namely Apple Valley Family Medicine, and also an aesthetic practice. And my goal is to have patients not only feeling good, but looking good. So guys, you are in for a treat. Dr. Tolulpe Olabintan is a physician that is board certified in family medicine and lifestyle medicine. She's also certified in providing HIV care and women's health. She's the owner and CEO of Livingspring Family Medical Center in Mansfield, Texas. She has over 13 years of medical experience and helps her patients live long and well, as she believes the quantity of life is just as important as the quality of life. Dr. O, thank you so much for being here with us.
Oh, my pleasure. And thank you for having me here. And I love what you do, by the way.
Thank you.
I love what you do.
Oh, thank you. So, and this is going to be so good because we all want to live long and well. So I guess the first question would be, what's the significance of this? Why is this important?
Oh, wow. It almost sounds self-explanatory, but I'll indulge a little bit.
Yeah.
Living long and well, you don't want to drag through life. You don't want to, endure life. You kind of want to enjoy it, right? There are things we look forward to. I don't know, 5 years from now, a year from now, 20 years from now, that are important to you as a person. It could be traveling, it could be hanging out with your grandkids, it could be meeting that milestone that your life's milestone, like you want to accomplish this or that. Well, it takes you being well to accomplish them. And so it's important to work towards that. I give this analogy a lot. If you have a fancy car, you don't wait for the car to break down before you took it in for a tune-up. You would make sure you would even name her or him, whatever. You're looking for a tune-up, right? Make sure engine oil is checked, make sure things are good even before the car breaks down. How much more a human being?
Absolutely.
And so it's really, really important for those goals that we want to see in the future, whether immediate or long term. You living long and well is key to enjoying the process. So yes.
So important. So important. And I think for me, my take on it as well is I found that earlier on in my journey, I used to focus more on the destination.
Mm,
Not just it's not the destination, it's the journey because it's everything. So that makes total sense. Okay. So the other question I will ask before we get right into the meat of this is, what are the obstacles that you're finding with and people that you help with living long and well? What are the obstacles that people face to get in the way of this?
Number one is priorities. So if you don't prioritize something, it's usually not on your radar, right? So it's not something we commonly think about, like, oh, I should go for my checkup, or there's a family history of this in my family. I should probably go check to make sure that's good, or there has been a nagging cough. It's not bothering what I do anyway, so why bother? It probably go away on its own. So it's not prioritizing it. So if you make it a priority, you're most likely to make steps or do the things that require going to see the doctor, or going for your checkup, or going for your preventive screen. And so one of the things I help champion is to kind of say, hey, you are a priority, and hey, you want to call it self-care, that's fine. Call it what you need it to be called, to prioritize it. All right. So priority is number one. Number two, also not knowing is something that you should do. And that's why certain areas it's not, the healthcare systems are a little, they're not as proficient, or they're not enough. And so there's not a big emphasis on preventive healthcare. And that's one of the issues, not knowing, right? And I'll say the final one is thinking that the whole process is hard or difficult, or means you have to eat bird food, or, oh my God, it means you have to suffer and not enjoy your meals, and you got to exercise and look like you're about to pass out. Like, it's just these things we think about, like, that is, oh my God, if I eat healthy, automatically equals my life is a punishment, and that's not true. So I'll
No.
stick to the big like the big three I see over and over again, and rinse and repeat when I talk to my clients. Yes.
That's so funny. I like your spin on things. All right, so we're getting right into it. So, Dr. O, what are your tips to living long and well?
Wow. There are a lot, but I'll give a few. I'll say number one is exercise.
Mm.
And I don't want you to already tune out if you're listening to this like, ah, here we go. Um, I want to encourage you to move and know that you are moving,
Yeah.
right? Movement is the whole idea. It could be dancing with Lebu date nights every day, like where you go out dancing. It could be listening to music, your favorite, 90s music in your underwear and just duking it out.
Mhm.
It could be taking a walk and calling it a friend or going taking a walk with your dog. So the whole idea is for you to move. Studies have shown that even if you didn't exercise the recommended 30 minutes for 5 days a week, and you moved, you are actually more likely to live 10 years longer than someone who had a sedentary job and sat for most of their life. So movement is important. And the second part of it is knowing that you're moving. There was a study that they did where they looked at a group of maybe 300 people who kind of cleaned hotels, and they split them they asked them if they exercise, and all of them looked really bad. They were like, not look bad, but they looked sad and said, oh, I don't exercise, I don't have time, by the time I get home I'm tired. So they split them in two groups. They had the one group where they said, guess what, when you do all the things you're doing here, you move over 20,000 steps, so you already exercise, you're one of the like most active people if you were to compare to those who have a desk job. Oh my goodness. And they watched the two groups, those who knew that they were exercising and those who did not. 4 weeks or 6 weeks later, the depression scores were lower in those who knew. Their outlook on life, even the energy levels, looked better just by the fact that they knew. And they repeated this study over and over again. So knowing that you're moving is important too, and movement. So that's tip number one.
Yes.
Move. Number two, eating healthy. Yes, I was going to say that. Like, yeah, we've known this for decades, for centuries. More plant-based, the more real the foods are, the better it is for you. And so, I don't want this to be another, oh my gosh, yes, I know, like, it's not a shaming conversation. It's more, I want you to think about ways you could splash, I call it splashing more fresh fruits and vegetables into your diet. Dice it, freeze it, blend it, chop it, whatever you need to do to get it from your plate into your mouth. whatever, whatever you need, whatever you need to do. I'll give an example. My kids, salad, I tell them, salads are good for you. Get used to it. So that when you're older, it's not like a punishment. They put organic graham crackers in it. So that way there's like they're eating their salads and there's like little treats, and they end up eating more than they usually
That's
would.
good.
So whatever it takes to get you to eating more of it, please, for you, you're worth it. You're worth the inconvenience. Um, so that's tip number two. Tip number three is going for a checkup. I tend to recommend that people do it as part of their birthday month to celebrate the awesomeness that is you. So as part of your birthday month, you want to travel, you want to, get phone calls, you want to take some time off, you want to go for your checkup. So that way that month, you tend to remember that because it's your birth month.
Mm.
And so that's tip number three. Tip number four is community. Oh
Mm.
my goodness, community, community, community. And this one can be a little tricky. It's not like you have to know a lot of people. The whole idea is having a support system or building one for yourself. And
Mm.
I agree with you. Some people find it maybe easier to do than others, but actively looking for support systems, either through your primary care doctor who can link you up to maybe a physical therapist that you need, or a psychologist that you need, or a nutritionist, or sending you to a chiropractor, or sending you to a cardiologist. And then sometimes you have to imbibe yourself in groups that help with that, right? So sometimes Facebook community or social media community where maybe there's a chronic condition you have where you're supported and you don't feel like you're alone. Sometimes it will take more effort on your part, but studies have shown that those who are surrounded by people who have a community or a sense of community actually live long and better than those who live in isolation. And that doesn't mean living alone is a problem. It's having a community. They say
Yeah,
it takes a village to raise a child. It takes a community to keep that child growing and thriving.
that's it.
A
Oh,
whole community.
we're social beings, so we gotta stay connected. That is beautiful. Thank you. much. This is so, so good. So, guys, you've heard it. Get that exercise in. A lot of these things, you've heard of them before, but not heard like this, right? So, exercise, eating healthy, plant-based is better, obviously. Getting your checkup, getting in to see your docs, and living in community, staying connected.
I
So,
have one more, Doc. I have
sure.
one more that's very important. And you know, the list can go on, but this one I want to emphasize is
Mhm.
minding your mind. Oh my
Mm,
goodness, minding your mind. Like your thought process affects how you see life. It
mhm.
affects what you think is possible. It affects your actions. Like it's linked to what you do. So being careful to guard your mind is very important. And so things I encourage are listening to things that encourage you, that empower you. And you know, sometimes people think when we say that it means be delusional, like, oh, there's a fire right there. Oh, there's no fire. I don't see the fire, so I'm gonna act because I'm going to be positive. No, it's saying, well, I'm going to learn skills that will help me go through the seasons where there's quite a few fires to put out.
Right,
Because you still have to go through them. So it's not a delusional ideology. The whole idea is how can I strengthen my mind so that when challenges come, I don't fall over. I'm
right.
like, okay, what do I need to do to thrive? Who do I need to call? What resources do I need to put together? And who do I need to ask help from to channel through this season? And so meditating is a way to build mind or mental resilience. So meditating, practicing gratitude. I used to think these things were like, yeah, yeah, yeah. But really, literally practicing gratitude, where you reflect on things that were challenges before you've come through, and remember that and leverage it to know that whatever is coming ahead, even if it's new, you can weather through because you've done rinse and repeat in the past.
Yes.
So you've got to guard your mind. It's not everything you need to watch. It's not
Mm,
everything you need to listen to. And it's not everyone you need to kind of talk along
that
for.
I was gonna say that's the truth. So let your
That's it.
that's a that's a really, really good one. Thank you so much for that. I'm actually going to switch gears. I usually ask a few questions. This is more about you. So
Okay.
the ones I ask is, why do you do what you do, Doc?
Whew. Um, I do what I do because it's part of my gifting. I believe I'm called to do this. And so, you know, I've settled in living out what I call to do.
Mhm.
So, you know, it's I have the gift of compassion, and so I enjoy making people feel better and have a better quality of life, regardless of what condition they're in, even if
And
terminal. It's what can I do to make you feel better? What will quality mean to you even during this season? So I enjoy it. It's my life's calling. So it
uh,
makes sense.
they're lucky to have you.
Thank
Well,
you.
now, so a spin-off of that, but it's completely unrelated. I ask sometimes, if you had an opportunity to meet your 20-year-old self with all the experience you had, what would you tell them? What advice would you give your 20-year-old self?
Oh my, that's a deep one.
Well, like what?
Wow. Oh, what would I tell my 20-year-old self? I
Mhm.
would tell her that it gets easier with time.
Absolutely.
However,
Mhm.
don't waste time. Make
Yeah.
the most of the time because as you get older, you realize all the time you were bored.
That's time you could have been using.
Oh my God. Those are times that I could have been reading more books, developing myself, preparing for where I am right now.
Right.
I would also tell her who you hang out with is
Mhm.
very important. Oh my goodness. Very, very important. It's good to have people that you mentor. It's good that you have people who are in your, same level with you, but it's very, very important to look at those who have been ahead of you and who can teach you. So submit to
I
mentorship.
love
Yes.
people. I always ask that because there's always a nugget in there that somebody out there in the same position could benefit from. So you guys have heard it. Thank you so much, Dr. O. So how can people connect with you, look you up, all that?
All right. So you can find me on the World Wide Web at www.livingspring livingspringmedicals.com. There is a little link where you can actually email me directly. I'm also on Facebook at Living Spring Medicals. We also have a YouTube channel, Living Spring Medicals. And on TikTok, you can find me sometimes. Dr. Olabintan. It's Olabintan. And also on Instagram, Dr. Olabintan. You can just put my name and you find me on LinkedIn as well.
I love it. Thank you so much. So good. So guys, you have heard it. Definitely look her up. And for those of you looking for a quality primary care physician, we are accepting new patients at Apple Valley Family Medicine. You can give us a call at 304-350-1087. And you can also find us online at www.applevalleyfamily.com. So you guys have a wonderful week. Like and share this video because you know someone benefit from it. Dr. O, for being here with us.
My pleasure. Thank you.
All right. Bye.